What is up, my beautiful souls? Welcome back to Dose of Destiny. If you're new, I'm your host, Destiny, and thank you for coming back each week for your dose of balance, whether that's mentally, physically, energetically, or because you missed me because I didn't post last week. So, speaking of me not posting last week, I have a confession. But first, I want to talk about consistency. Let me ask you this question. What does consistency mean for you? What do you deem as you being consistent with something? Ponder on that question because we're going to come back to it. But first, let's get back to that confession. Basically, I did have videos to post. I had like maybe 3 or 4 videos that I could have posted last week, but I didn't because I half-assed them. I didn't have the time or the energy to pour into my videos the way that I wanted or needed to. I beat myself up because I was like, I'm not being consistent. I'm not posting this week. Like, what is like, I'm getting momentum finally with my channel. Like, what does that mean for me? Why am I doing this to myself? Just really going through the motions. And it's not really what I was doing to myself, it was what I wasn't addressing within myself. So once I got to the bottom of what needed to be addressed, I literally instantly got my creative spark back. I couldn't even create a good outline for myself. When I got in front of the camera, I was like freezing, or I was like talking in circles. Like I was rushing my creative process. And I kept feeling like I should have waited to record on a different day and just really sit with myself. Like my body, my mind, like really needed a break. It needed some rest, and I didn't listen. So I went and recorded the videos anyway, and they were trash to me. They probably would have been good to put out, but like to me, I'm like, I could do better. Remember that question I asked you about consistency? What does consistency look like for you? Grab your tea, grab your blankets, grab your blunts, grab your wine. Get something that's gonna comfort you through this whole video because I'm probably gonna snatch your wig off. I snatched my own wig and I ain't even wearing a wig right now. Got to the root of some things, and I'm about to tell y'all the real on why you're not consistent. I thought that if I didn't post or I didn't record these videos, that I'm not being consistent, that I'm not putting my all into my channel. But I'm literally putting everything extra that I have. I was literally not giving myself anything, not spending time with myself, not being emotionally available for myself. Like I was getting in that mode. And I feel like that is masculine energy. This is why it's important to get your masculine and your feminine energy in balance, because you're definitely going to know when you're out of balance. But that's besides the point. Go and watch one of my masculine and feminine energy videos that I got on this channel. But anyway, creativity is feminine energy. So if I wasn't really like acknowledging my feminine energy, acknowledging my emotions, how I really felt about consistency or whatever it was that I was going through at the time, I wasn't being available for myself. Although I wasn't recording, although I wasn't posting on like my Instagram or on YouTube, that doesn't mean that I wasn't being consistent with my work. I was doing the inner work. I was jotting things down. All of that stuff is still you doing the work. That's still you being consistent. It's just going to look different every day. Consistency does not have to be, oh, I'm at the gym 7 days a week. I'm only eating salads at 12 p.m. Only going to go to bed at 9, wake up at, like, that's so rigid. That's what I was getting myself into. Like, doing this at this time, doing this at that time. Like, really avoiding my emotions because it was really something that I needed to work through. Something that I thought I had worked through previously, but apparently not. So that really helped clear some energy, clear some space for me to really bring in my creativity. Consistency does not have to look like something that's so rigid, something that has a complete like schedule. There's no room for bending, there's no room for resting, there's no room to like take a beat. I don't thrive well that way. For me, I need to do a little, rest a little, do a little, rest a little, so that I can thrive. That's how I can stay consistent. But the reason why I asked that question, what does consistency mean for you? What does it look like? Because to me, it seems like a lot of us let society deem what is consistency? What does consistency look like for everybody? Like, if you're not doing this every single day, or if you're not doing this at least 3 times a week or whatever, you're not being consistent. Like, I understand that, yeah, if you're not doing something for a month, then yeah, at this point you're not being consistent. But if it is something that you are working on and you're doing something towards it every day, whether that's working on something within yourself, working on your mindset, working on your eating, working on, like, if you exercise or whatever, all of that stuff really contributes to your consistency. So you have to figure out, what does that even mean for you, instead of looking at society and saying, oh, well, I didn't do this today, like, I'm going to be judged, or I'm judging myself because I feel like I should have been more consistent. So let's get into that. Why do you feel like you should have been more consistent? Are you basing your self-worth off consistency? Because that's when it's your vice, when you are deeming your self-worth off of how consistent it looks to society instead of how consistent it feels to you. Do what you want to do. Do it how long you want to do it. Do it how many times you want to do it in a week, in a day. As long as you are being consistent in some kind of way, that's the only thing that matters. But don't base your worth off of, like, if you decide to take the day off, or if you decide to take the week off from posting or whatever, it's literally okay. But make sure that you're doing something to still, like not necessarily hold on to that momentum, because we don't want to attach to the momentum of things, but just so you can, like, keep it level, like, so that it doesn't, like, begin to crumble. Do a little something towards it every day. But like I've always said in all of my videos, if you have a firm foundation of your life, of your purpose, of whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to be consistent in, then you're just going to always be consistent. Like, you're gonna know how to get back consistent. Like, you'll never really lose that momentum per se. And some things you can, but like if you go entirely too long without, doing what you say you were going to do, then yeah, you can lose momentum, but you always have that solid foundation that you can go back to. Y'all know I always preach about that. So build this foundation of self-worth first before you start trying to be consistent with things. Because maybe you're not a gym girly. Maybe you're not a gym bro. Maybe you don't want to be vegan. Maybe you don't want to create content. Like, figure out what it is that you want to do and do that. Like, for me, I've recently figured out that I don't really love going to the gym. I'd rather do Pilates. I'd rather do something that keeps me in a good, like, feminine flow state, you know? I feel like when I lift at the gym, my joints be hurting, and I just don't want that. Like, I never had joint issues before I was, like, consistently going to the gym. So, like, when I do Pilates, I feel good. Like, I feel really good, and I love it, and it's not boring. I'm not like, oh, I wish this was over, like I do when I'm in the gym. That's why I only go, like, once a week at the gym, because it's just not my thing no more. Like, I really love Pilates and bar and stuff like that now. Or, like, cardio hit workouts or something at home, where I can, like, get through it fast. I don't want to be at the gym for over an hour. Whatever you're doing, look at, like, weigh it out. What are the pros to whatever you're doing? What are the cons? If you do like moving your body, like I love moving my body, so I'm gonna find a different way to do that. Like, it's not one way. There's not an end all be all one way to do things. Okay, like, you can modify things, adjust it to how you want it to be. You don't have to have this rigid routine about yourself. Like, give yourself the room to flow and be free, and to, like, sometimes your consistency is going to be here for weeks, and then it might dip a little, but then it'll come back up because you've already gained that momentum. You've already built that foundation. So don't be afraid to lose it. Don't be so attached to consistency. Don't be so attached to momentum. And understand that your self-worth issues aren't oh shit. Oh my god. Oh, oh my god. I don't know what kind of blood that was, but whoa. It just like attacked me. So self-worth. You have issues with your self-worth when you can't be consistent with something, because why don't you feel like you can't have what you want? You just don't know what you want. That's why you can't be consistent. It's not about consistency. So stop saying, oh, I need to be more consistent. I need to be more consistent. Because you're never going to be consistent if that's what you're basing your ability to be consistent off of. Like, your ability to be consistent is based off of what you feel like you deserve. Back then, when I first started my channel, I low key, like subconsciously, didn't feel like I deserved to have a podcast, a good one at that, honey. But I didn't feel like I deserved it, and that's why it was hard for me to be consistent, because I not only felt like I lacked the resources. I did not lack the resources. I had to look at life from a different angle to understand that I'm not being consistent because I don't believe that I deserve it. I don't believe that I can do it. I'm just a girl. Okay? Like, why do I feel like I can have a successful podcast? But why do I not feel like I can't have a successful podcast? Okay, that's the questions we need to be asking ourselves. Not, I don't feel like I deserve this, or I don't feel like I can have this, or I don't feel like I can do this. Because that's not the case. That's just you having a lack of self worth. And that's just all it is to it. Okay, pull your wig up. I see your hairline. Bottom line is, sis. Bottom line is, bro, that you gotta dig deep into the self-worth onion and figure out why you don't feel worthy of the things that you want, because that's the bottom line of why you can't be consistent. What is it? Because there's something there. Like, don't sit up here and tell me that there's not. You're not being consistent because you don't believe that you can have it. So figure out why you feel that way. Like, really dig deep. Ask yourself that one question, and then it's literally all just gonna keep coming. And then you're gonna be like, oh shit, like I'm overwhelmed. Like, it's so much coming up about my self-worth. And then you're like, you kind of brush it off to the side until the next thing comes up, and then you have to reopen that book, you reopen that self-worth onion, and figure out why you can't get nothing done. Okay, so I think that's where we're gonna end the show. I hope y'all enjoyed this, because I definitely enjoyed it, besides getting attacked by some kind of bug. I don't know. I'm in South Carolina, so we got all kind of critters down here. But anyway, I hope that y'all have the most amazing, productive, consistent, restful, feminine, or masculine week ever. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you feel called to. I would love to have you. So let's catch up the next time that we link up, okay? Love you. Bye.